Another very useful data wrangling activity is removing duplicates from your data frame. Now, the definition of duplicate can vary from a use case to use case. Generally, what is referred to as a duplicate row in your data frame is if a given row contains all of its values to be exactly same as another row in your data frame. Right? Two rows contain all of these values are same, right? All the values in all the columns are same. Then these two can be considered as duplicates. These two rows, by the way, are not duplicates, of course, but that is the definition. But besides this, you might also want to consider a case where, suppose, based on only these two columns, say there is another row where state value equal to ks and account length also equal to 128. Then this row and the other row I just mentioned are considered as duplicate. Other values may change, but based on these two columns, those two rows will still be considered as a duplicate. Right? These are different cases that we can do using pandas. And all of this is possible using this one single function called drop underscore duplicates. And when dropping the duplicate, there are certain other cases. You might want to keep the very first occurrence. You might want to keep the very last occurrence. You might want to delete all the occurrences also, right? First, keep the first, keep the last, or delete all the occurrences. These are the different ways of removing duplicates as well. Let's run and see the cases. So we have the data frame. You're using the churn.csv itself. Now we want to drop duplicates based on the state column alone. Let's run this and see the output. Now here in this output, this should contain as many states that are existing in the United States. So there are 51 rows. None of these rows will have the same value for state column in any other row. That's guaranteed here. Likewise, suppose if we want to consider two other rows, say state and area code. In this output, none of the rows will have the same exact values for both state as well as area code here. Alright, so that's the output of this. Now instead of keep, this one keeps the very first occurrence of a duplicate row. Alright, you could change this to last. Notice the output here in this version, the first version, there are 153 rows. Now I am changing it to last. Let me run this now. Here also, the same 153 rows only comes as an output, but the different rows are selected. That is, the last occurrences are selected. Likewise, an alternative is you might want to completely remove all the duplicate rows. No such row exists in this data frame, right? So this is another case. Now, if you remove all of these arguments and run the default, now this will consider a row as a duplicate only if all the columns in a given row has an exact match with any other row. So those are the different ways we deal with duplicates.